Welcome back. Today I'm excited to listen to more Band-Maid. If you haven't been here before, what I've been doing is going through Band-Maid's catalog in chronological order from their very first album through all their singles, and I've made it up to the album Just Bring It. We did Don't You Tell Me, Puzzle, and Moratorium. The next song on the album is YOLO, which I already did because the previous single before this album was YOLO. And now on this album, Just Bring It, we have a string of songs that don't have official music videos, although a couple of them have live videos that I have found. So instead of doing what I normally do, which is where I listen to the audio and then I watch the official music video and then I try to find a live, I'm just going to go through these songs getting the best version that I can of each one, whether it's a live video or just the audio in a couple of cases. And I'm going to do as many songs as I can in this video, because to be honest, I've been missing Band-Maid. You'll notice I didn't get to do a video last week. That's because we've been busy here. And even when I've been outside doing yard work and other things, like I had to do a bunch of tree trimming because of a big storm, I wasn't listening to Band-Maid because I wanted to save that for these reactions. I was listening to a bunch of other bands that I found in the last couple of years, and I've been missing Band-Maid, so let's just dive into the next song, which is Cross, and I did find an official live video of Cross. And for the new people, be warned, I am going to pause to talk about what I saw or heard. I'll try not to do it too much, but I am going to do it. If you just want to hear the song straight through, it's on YouTube, it's on various music streaming services, or you can just buy the album like I did. These are the liner notes for the album where I'm looking at the lyrics. They do have English translations of all of these, and Cross sounds like it's about love. It seems a little scatterbrained to me in the lyrics. It kind of goes back and forth from the other person being at fault to me being at fault, me being the person who's, writing the lyrics. And as far as I can tell, that's about what 90% of rock songs or pop songs are about, is relationships, good ones, bad ones, and whatnot. All right, I have pulled up the official live video. Hopefully I have the audio set up correctly, and let's just listen. All right, it was hard to find a place to pause there, but I had a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, it started off pretty much with the vocals at the beginning with almost no musical intro, which I think is unusual for Band-Maid. I think we've had a couple of songs that did that in the past, but most of them have at least a few measures of musical introduction. Another thing is that in this mix anyway, Konami's guitar is really clear off on the right, and she seems to be just following her own path. Another thing is that I think right in the middle of the chorus, they just changed key. They went up a key, if I'm not mistaken, and that's also fairly unusual for Band-Maid. I just looked in the liner notes, and unlike most of the songs on this album, Band-Maid didn't write this song. The words, the music, and the arrangement are all by other people. So that might explain some of the differences that we hear in this song. I'm not saying it's bad, I was just noticing a few things that were a little bit unusual. Also, it sounds like Psyche is maybe a little bit closer to the top of her range than is usual in most of their songs. And I don't know about the video, but we do know that this album came out before her 2017 vocal surgery. And there was a really cool Akane drum fill right through there, just not too long, not too far back. I was pretty impressed by. Let's keep going. There was definitely some change-ups there. I think they went back down the key, and then there was the kind of a sing-along part. I looked at the lyrics again, but I didn't see the sing-along part. I want to go back just a little bit and catch that. All right, I backed up just a little bit because an advertisement started playing as soon as I got to the end. But that was really interesting. I almost said I don't think I've heard that song before, but I see that I have clicked a thumbs up here sometime in the past. So this must have been one of the songs that I went through when I was first becoming aware of Band-Maid about a year and a half ago. Actually, not quite a year and a half ago, but just over a year ago. But certainly when I heard it the first time, I wasn't as familiar with their catalog as I am now. And of course, I've been doing this chronological thing, so this sounds out of place to me. It sounds like it belongs maybe on the previous album. Because even though it does have a lot of Band-Maid signature stuff that we've been noticing as they've been writing more of their own songs, like the breaks where the instruments drop out and it's just the vocals for a second, like the part where there's a sing-along that the crowd can join in with, the interspersal of English words among the Japanese words, and of course the sound. The tone of Misa's bass is amazing. Akane a couple of times just surprised me. Like at one point where the music dropped out and it was just vocals, and when they came back in, she did a really fast, whatever you call it, I'm not a musician. And once again, we got to see and hear Kanami singing, which I'm always impressed by. I didn't see Misa singing. I don't know how often she sings. I know that there is a microphone stand over there. And I also thought that Psyche's voice sounded better as the song went along. I noticed at the beginning it sounded a little strained and a little rough to me, but she got into the spirit of it and carried it out to the end. And she looks like she's having fun right here. But yeah, it was a fun song. I'm not going to squeeze it up into, my list of top 5 or top 10. Speaking of which, I realized that I misspoke in a couple of my previous videos where I was talking about, is this one of my favorite Band-Maid songs, my top 5 Band-Maid songs? I should have been more clear in that that's my top 5 all songs. Not just Band-Maid songs, or top 10, or whatever you have. Like right now, like songs that used to be my favorite songs, or among my favorite songs, I never got a perfect list of my top 10 Desert Island songs, or anything like that. But all of those have been supplanted in the last year by Band-Maid songs. All my Paradise Cities, and Thunderstrucks, and Welcome to the Jungles, and Paranoids, all of those I still enjoy listening to, but they've been pushed down the list, and now Band-Maid songs are dominating the top. But anyway, this was a fun song. It's not going to squeeze into that top 5 or 10. I thought I could tell that they didn't write it, but I doubt it because I thought that they wrote most, if not all of the songs on this album, and I checked and they didn't write this song, so that made me feel better that I was able to notice that. But I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next one, which is OOPARTS, or it might be pronounced OOPARTS. I have no idea. It's 2 O's and then parts, all smushed together. And I just read the English translation of the lyrics, and I have no idea what this song's about. It sounds like they had some deep thoughts, but somebody might have been confused when they wrote it. It seems like the thoughts are all smashed together. That might be a translation issue. And before I start the song, I did look. This one also is not written by Band-Maid. The words, the music, and the arrangement are by somebody else. So this one might sound a little different too. I don't know. This one I have not given it a thumbs up, so it's possible I haven't heard this one before. And in this one, I just have audio. I didn't find any, live videos or anything like that. So let's just go. Well, again, I wasn't sure where to stop. It felt like there were not very many breaks in the lyrics. But since I already know that it wasn't written by them, I don't want to claim that, I can tell it wasn't written by them, because I checked that before I started the song. But it sounds fun. At the same time, it doesn't sound, perfectly happy and everything's great. There was a tone to it. It's obviously, I don't understand what they're saying. Even though I read the English translations, I'm still not sure. There's definitely a thoughtful, introspective, and maybe not entirely happy tone to the way the vocals sound and the music, but it seems like most of it is upbeat, and there was a bounciness to parts of it in the chorus. It sounds fun. I think it reminds me of early 2000s music. And I might have my eras off. I wasn't listening to a lot of new music in the aughts, or the teens for that matter. But I think it reminds me of some of the stuff that I was hearing around that time. Oh, and I also want to mention that at the beginning, when the music still hadn't fully come in yet, I think it started with just the guitar, and then when I felt the bass come in, and I say felt because it came in with such, I don't know how she does it, but Misa's bass guitar tone, or the quality of that sound, sounds so much better than so many bass guitar sounds I've ever heard. And I assume that's something that she had to have crafted and chosen for herself. She didn't, I assume, just buy a guitar and start plugging it into things and thought, oh, that sounds nice, and kept going, right? You musicians can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you are first coming into your own as a musician, I assume you experiment a lot with the different, not just the amplifiers, but also there's, other equipment, including pedals and effects, and you craft that sound. I have to assume that based on all the different sounds that we hear from bass guitars and electric guitars and so on. And she picked this type of tone that seems to me to be a signature Misa tone, and it's gorgeous. I'm going to keep going. I'm enjoying the song. Again, I don't think it's going to be one of my, top 10 or favorites, but, and also we have this pleasant artwork to look at while we listen. Let's keep going. Another thing I noticed here is that there was very briefly a vocal trade-off part, like it reminded me of, was it Freezer? Where Miku and Saiki are trading off a little bit. Saiki is predominantly the lead singer of the song, but there's places where she leaves a little bit of a gap between her words, and Miku's filling in those gaps, and that was pretty cool. I also noticed, and this is probably something that was obvious to everyone the whole time, but I noticed there was a point where Saiki herself, by herself, changed the rhythm of the song, or made it seem to me, the listener, as if she had changed the rhythm of the song. The rhythm of the song didn't change. The drums didn't change during that part. None of the other instruments, as far as I could tell, sped up or slowed down. But she was singing on the beats, and then she started singing twice as fast, putting in twice as many syllables per beat as she was before for just a line or two. And for that amount of time, it felt like the song sped up. And then when she stopped and she went back to, the normal amount of syllables, it felt like the song slowed back down again. And I don't know, maybe vocalists have been doing that the whole time, but here it sure felt like she herself just made the song feel that much more intense by doubling up on the syllables she threw in there. Let's keep going. Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be a guitar solo there. Let me back up to make sure that we catch the beginning of it. Oh, and that just kind of cut off suddenly there at the end. I think we got a second guitar solo, kind of a minor version of it, and I don't know if I should correct myself or not, but someone pointed out in the comments recently that what Konami does isn't technically soloing, at least in many of these songs, although I don't know if there's a hard and fast definition of guitar solo, but I've been calling them guitar solos because it's the place in a song where you would expect a guitar solo, and the guitar is more prominent there. There's no vocals. But unlike most guitar solos that I've heard in my life, the rest of the instruments don't just, kind of drop back and hold steady while she does her thing. Especially Misa, in most cases, and here, and especially Akane. Maybe instead of solo, we should be calling these trios or something, especially since they've begun writing their own songs, they've clearly decided at some point that where their solo would normally be, we're going to have three of us doing that. And none of us are going to drop back and let the other one take center stage, although I've seen enough live videos to know that sometimes Konami does run over and take center stage, which, she should sometimes. And Akane's always, in the same spot there. But Misa and Akane and Konami are all three doing this. So maybe guitar solo isn't the right word, but I feel like I could patter on and on about this song, but I liked it. And it might have just been the mood that I was in or the particular emotional state of today, but it made me feel good. It had a couple of surprising moments and it sounded good, but I guess one thing that really stood out to me in this song more than anything was the bass guitar. This song sounded so much smoother, so much more, I don't want to use the word intimate because I think that gets thrown around too much these days, but that's the first thing that kept popping into my head. The song felt like it was, hugging me. If that might sound silly, and I don't mean the message of the song, I mean the sound of it. It felt nice. That was a pleasant experience. The next song on the album is Take Me Higher, and I did find a live video of this one. It's not an official live video, but it looks like, I went a few seconds into it, it looks like the sound and video is high enough quality, and I also took a look at the lyrics. This seems like another one of those self-encouragement type songs, and the title kind of insinuates that, but it includes lines like, even fate can be taken apart and rewritten. I'm not afraid anymore. I'll set foot even into the darkness. Rather than finding faults, use your feet and kick it up. Always keep on humming with smile. But anyway, it goes on in that vein. I'm not going to read all the lyrics, but it does seem like it's a song about encouraging oneself and maybe others. I'm pretty sure I've heard this one before, but I don't think I've heard it on quality headphones, and I don't remember it off the top of my head, so let's go. Okay, good. I am recording. I paused it a second ago, and sometimes I forget that whether or not I clicked record again. I believe this one's from 2017 at the Osaka Blitz. I don't know if that's the name of a festival or the name of the arena. I think that's what this is. Let's go. I'll back up a few seconds before I start again. This one's awesome so far. I love that rocking hard rock riff that it came in with. I don't know, that might even be described as metal in some circles. I think the actual opening of this video was probably left over from the previous song. I'm not sure. There were some strong bass parts already. The Psyche's vocals sound like she's really into it. This sounds like it was probably before her surgery or maybe just shortly thereafter. I don't know, but there's a little bit, not the strength that we've heard in her voice more recently, but it sounds really good. Of the ones we've heard today, this one, without hearing the rest of it yet, this one's my favorite so far. Let's hear that vocal build-up again. It sounds like we might be about to go somewhere here, but by my loose definition of guitar solo, I think we've already had two. One was in the intro and another one was before this verse, and it sounds like we might be about to get another one, but we had a bass solo. Sorry, I choked up for just a second. But even apart from the bass solo, I noticed a couple of shots of Misa getting a lot more into it, the movement of her body, more so than I've normally see her. She's really enjoying herself, which we like to see. Kanami has a particular look of enjoyment, confidence on her face when they've shown her face. I like that at least once we saw the foot where she's, I assume tapping the pedal to change the effect from, one section to the next. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This sounds just terribly fun. I'm going to back up just a little bit and keep going. Oh my goodness. That was a wild ride, and I could see on a couple of their faces very near the end that it looked like it was about all they could do to keep up with that song. Like this part is just near the end, and it's harder to tell when it's a still photo, but it looks like Misa was breathing a sigh of relief here just as she's like, okay, we're almost done. And then just a little bit later, again, hard to tell in the still version, but here it looked like Akane was just at the very end of her ability to concentrate on one song. Like it wore her out. I like how the artifacts of the recording make the drumstick look like it's curving there, but she was focusing so intently here, she didn't even have the ability to do her trademark smile. And even Konami looked a little bit worn out here. She's in the process of turning back, I assume, to look at the rest, of the band to make sure they're going to end at the same time. And of course, she should be worn out after that. My goodness. Yeah, that was a fun song. That was a fun song musically. Also, the vocal melody, I thought fit the music really well, and it kind of fit the message of it. It had that take me higher feel. Yeah, just really well done all around. And not that I had any doubt, but that one was written by Band-Maid. The words are by Miku Kabato and Psyche, and music by Band-Maid, arrangement by Band-Maid, and someone else. I've got some more time, so let's just keep going. The next song on the album is So What, with a question mark at the end. This one was not written by Band-Maid, neither the lyrics nor the music, but I'm willing to give it a shot. This one is another introspective one, possibly about self-encouragement. It starts off with lightly and slowly brainwashed. I can't have the same passion I did before. Am I not allowed to be self-assertive now? The world is already seething. I'm already sprinting. There's no connection, and I don't know what to do. So what? So what indeed? If I just wait around for a chance, no new wind is gonna come. And it ends with, I just want to love this burning impulse. I want to be the person who can't read the room. I don't care if I'm left out. I'll escape to the tomorrow I've yet to see. This is my own one way. Pretty interesting lyrics. Let's just go. And of course, for this one, we just have the audio. Almost forgot my headphones. All right, well, that one came in like a storm, and you can feel in the tone of Psyche's voice that it kind of, feels like what the song is talking about. Like there's a little bit of a desperation, a little bit of a not sure what you want to do with your life, but, and there's an intensity to that. I love how the music is steady and hard driving. There's a really strong, bass groove behind all of this. The drums are doing hard work. Konami, as she seems to have been on this entire album, is doing a lot more than what I feel like most lead guitarists do during the vocal parts. And I think that's one thing that makes this band's sound more exciting to me, more attractive to me than a lot of bands I've listened to over the years. I think you know what I'm talking about, right? You have a lot of bands where during the vocal parts, the lead guitar kind of drops down with the rhythm guitar and kind of supports that. And then you have other bands where the lead guitar player is just the soloist. They do the opening riff, they do the outro, and then they have a solo at different points during the song, but then they don't do anything, while somebody's singing. But Konami is doing hard work through the entire song. And even though this one wasn't written by them, more than those other two, it kind of sounds like it was, or it feels like it was to me. Let's keep going. Oh my goodness. I think I want to back up and hear that part again. But once again, it was not just a guitar solo. Again, Akane and Misa were doing bang up jobs of soloing on their own. It just happens to be in the place where you expect the guitar solo after the second or third chorus, and the guitar was more prominent. It sounds like Konami is making more use of, I don't know the name of that specific effect, but it has that familiar sound, and she's doing a bang-up job of using that effect. But yeah, there were just some amazing drum and bass parts in there. This song, even though it was not written by them, is really well constructed in my opinion. Let's see if I can find the place where the vocals dropped out. Wow, Akane was really doing something there that I don't think I've heard from her before. I've talked in previous songs about how she uses the double bass pedal as kind of a pulsing effect where she goes and then pulls back to normal and then doubles again for a few beats and then pulls back to normal. But here it felt like she was doing that more with the toms. And there was definitely a part near the end of that song where it reminded me a little bit of the outro to Real Existence, where it was just high-paced drum work and of course everybody else doing their part too. That was a really fun song, and I'm going to rate that pretty high for especially among the ones that they didn't write themselves. I think if I hadn't looked at that before, I would have thought that this was one of theirs. So what? So what indeed? And I think I have time for one more. The next song on this album is Time. And I'm just going to check before I go on to see, so I don't have to guess here. Okay, this one, the words are by Miku Kobato, but the music and arrangement were by Hitoshi Okamoto. Okay, so she wrote the words, but Band-Maid didn't write the music. And then the lyrics start off, I can't turn this into a fairy tale. This bumpy reality just keeps on going. The dreams I should have forgotten change their color, and this melody reaches me, losing my understanding so much it's beautiful. It fills my heart so much that I change my mind. Time never waits for me. Time never waits for you. Take me far away. Call out. Tear open your heart like you're opening a lock and transcend yourself. Okay, so another self-actualization, self-encouragement song, and obviously, a very poignant, powerful message, very true. Time doesn't wait for us. Now, of course, many of us are getting up in years, and we're well aware of that. There's no video for this one, not that I could find. There's just the audio here on the official Band-Maid channel, so Time. Let's go. That's Miku singing, right? Okay, we haven't had one of these in a while, a song where Miku has the lead vocals, so I'm going to back up just a little bit. It definitely had a different feel to the music. I don't know if I would have, guessed that it wasn't written by Band-Maid if I hadn't already checked, but let's back up before the vocals start. The vocal melody went a couple of places that I wasn't expecting it to, which is always refreshing. Also, Miku's voice sounds really good. I don't have a list. I haven't been keeping track of, which albums had how many songs where she got lead vocals or where she got to trade off the lead vocals. And it seems like they've done that less as time went on. Maybe because she's taking a greater and greater responsibilities on rhythm guitar. I'm not sure. But I will just say that I'm one of those people that really likes the ones where Miku gets a chance to shine vocally because she has a really good voice. It's not the signature Band-Maid voice, but she does really well with it. So I'm enjoying this song so far. Let's keep going. Oh, wow. I have a feeling that if time would wait for anybody, it would be for her. Yeah, you have to give credit to the person that wrote this song, the musical part of it. Obviously, I assume that Band-Maid had their input into how it came out this way, but whoever wrote the song, I thought did a really good job, and I don't know if they wrote it thinking that this would be a song Miku would sing with, or if they just, wrote a musical thing and said, hey, here, throw some lyrics on it, do whatever you want. I have no idea. But it felt like they wrote it for the lyrics that she wrote. And at the same time, it felt like she wrote the lyrics for this song. So I don't know if she writes the lyrics, just, has a, notebook full of lyrics that she's waiting for the right music to fit with, or if she hears the music and then puts lyrics to it. I don't know. Or adapts what she's written down to the music that she's hearing. But it felt like the two fit each other really well. I like the couple of places where right before the "time never waits for me" line, there's like a little, just a pause, a hold up for a second, a gap almost. Not quite. It's a really small spot, but just like the music just stops really tight and then "time never waits for me." The guitar solo in this one was different than you would expect from Konami. She felt like she was holding back. But it fit the song and it felt thoughtful, which isn't really profound. I guess so many of Konami's guitar solos feel thoughtful, feel like she's trying to say something, but this one definitely felt like it was fitting the message of the song. And I'm not certain, but I think that the tone that I talked about earlier in Misa's bass felt different in this song, like she had adjusted it to fit this song. Regardless, musically, it felt simpler than a Band-Maid written song, but not much. It felt nice. It was fun. I like that one. And again, I hope that, Miku would get a chance as future albums continue coming out, give her one song per album at least, right? Or do the thing again where they share vocals and kind of go back and forth. That's always fun. Even though I've come to associate the sound of Psyche's voice with the Band-Maid sound, I always appreciate the times when Miku gets to sing. And whether that's because Psyche needs a break or because, hey, let Miku shine because she has a good voice too, whatever the reason is, that's all the time that I have for today. I think of these, was it 5, 6 songs that I just listened to? Take Me Higher, I think by far had the best impression on me. It was definitely much more up my alley as far as a hard rock song goes, but So What was really good as well. And this was a nice one to end on. And there's not really a weak link in these songs that we listened to today. It looks like there's 4 more songs on this album that I'll have to get to in a future video. There's You, Awkward, Decided by Myself, and Secret My Lips. Now, I've heard at least a couple of those before, and I'm pretty sure I've seen the Secret My Lips official music video, which, if I remember right, it's just live footage over the studio track, but I can't remember for certain because it's been a while. And somebody sent me a link to a live version of Awkward, so I'll try to work that one in, and maybe we'll get all 4 of those in the next video. But anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for all of those. Thank you to all of you who have left those incredible comments, either encouraging me or just, telling me what you think about Band-Maid or that particular song, or, the ones of you that leave long and detailed comments with background information, things like that. I do know a little about the band because I've read their entire Wikipedia page. I've watched the documentaries made by. And I had already fallen in love with Band-Maid before those documentaries, but I think that was what really brought to my mind how important Miku was to the band. I hadn't realized that yet. The others felt more like, that's probably how that came about. Then what was the outstanding thing was Miku, how she brought it all together. But anyway, I was just trying to say thank you for the comments because you never know which background information I don't know, and I always appreciate it. I'll see you next time.